Yo, what is going on, you guys? It is your boy IcePop here, finally recording another Destiny video. It's been a long time, been busy with school, sick, and, well, Destiny's been a little slow. So I wanted to make a video for you guys, in case you guys have been gone for a while, kind of like I have been. And when you come back, maybe for these big expansions all these YouTubers are talking about, or anything like the new expansion that's coming out, the new Destiny DLC, whenever you come back, a lot of you Warlocks might be forgetting, what did I used to main? Why did I main it? Or if you never played as a Warlock, who should I use and focus on for a subclass? Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the best Destiny 2 Warlock subclass. Now, if you're new to my channel, you might not realize, but I'm a little bit biased towards Titans. I believe in the Titan Master Race, but in Destiny 2, Warlocks are very useful and very viable. In Destiny 1, Titans seem to be the best and only support class, where in Destiny 2, Warlocks definitely have taken on that role themselves, where they're kind of more supportive, where Titans definitely are with that shield for protection, but it doesn't quite compare to the Warlock's healing or damage factor. And within that, I'm going to talk about, again, the best subclass. And I believe, not by far, but I believe that the best subclass for Warlocks is the Stormcaller. That's probably my thumbnail, so it's probably not a surprise to you guys, but I think Stormcaller is very good for the super, the grenades, and the abilities you get. So just for starters, I'm going to get it out of the way. Warlocks obviously have the Rift. Every single class ability is cross every single subclass, so Warlocks get that cool Rift that I just popped. And there's Healing Rift or a Damage Rift. Now, if any of you played a Titan in Destiny 1, that's basically very similar to how Ward of Dawn used to work, where you could get either a Blessing of Light buff, where you gained extra health like an Overshield, or you could have a weapons buff. I typically have always been more towards the health side, because what good is extra damage if you're dead? Therefore, I would recommend using the health buff rift over the damage buff, and I will get to why I would choose that even more over the damage buff a little bit later in the video. But also for Warlock jumps, that's the main reason I've never really played Warlocks much, besides Titans always looking cooler. Warlocks look dope, but Titans, they got that cool look. But for Warlocks, their jump has always been awkward. I could imagine after a while you could get used to the jump, where if you're coming from a Titan to a Warlock, the jump is similar in the way that it's not very vertical like a Hunter. However, it's just longer, you don't get as much height. It's just very different and kind of awkward. And from a Hunter, it's a completely different jump all on its own. So the Warlock jump has always been awkward. I don't know how you'd improve it. And I know Bungie wants to make the jump different, so it makes it seem like it's its own subclass and race and all that good jazz, where I just really have never liked the jump, and it's always been strange. Where I like in Destiny 2, they have the Volt, because I remember barely missing ledges in Destiny 1 and falling because it just didn't have that verticality, where the vaulting in this game definitely helps out Warlocks in that aspect. With that, I would recommend using Focus Burst, because it gives you that extra speed in a way, where I don't know, I think speed's the way to go. Warlocks already seem fairly slow in the air, almost like a moving target mid-air, very exposed, and I just think that getting that extra burst of speed really would help out your jump and your gameplay. And then for grenades, for Stormcaller, they have a lot of great grenades, and I don't know if they've kind of nerfed pulse grenades lately. Again, it's been a while since I've played, but it doesn't seem quite as powerful in PvE. PvP, it's definitely still viable. I always joke around and call it Nova Bomb Jr. just because it pulses so much, it stays in one spot, and it used to be a monster. I still think it's definitely good and viable. With that said, I would highly recommend the Arc Bolt Grenade just because it's so viable, has a good range, and has definitely very good damage. Now for the skill trees. Definitely, I would recommend for Stormcaller the bottom skill tree no matter what, PvE and PvP. For PvP, I could definitely see how the top skill tree could be better, where it has a longer melee range and such like that. Whereas overall, I feel like the bottom skill tree works best in every scenario, and I'll get back to that in a little bit. Now for the first perk you get in that bottom skill tree is you get an extended melee range, which if you've played Destiny 1, you know how annoying that Warlock melee range can be with this subclass. I definitely feel like they've fixed it and improved it quite a bit in Destiny 2, where it's not very annoying, but it still seems viable. And also with that, it recharges a little bit of your grenade, your melee energy back, as well as your super. So it basically recharges everything except your rift. And now another cool little toy that the Stormcaller gets is they get the perk Landfall, where that basically is a mini Fist of Havoc right as you summon your super. So if you're surrounded by a mob of enemies and you just need to clear them all at once, if you summon your super, everything near you is dead, as long as it's like a lower end type of enemy, such as like a Thrall or a normal Goblin Vex or a Vandal, stuff like that. And I think that's perfectly built into the super itself, where I don't really think of the Stormcaller being much of a boss damager in any way. Although they can, I think they're more useful for when there's such, for an example, there's a damage phase for a boss and your teamies are being surrounded by enemies as well as yourself, who you're going to call Stormcallers. Ghostbusters joke. Anyways, so when Stormcallers get to clear out all those enemies, your team has time to be able to shoot the boss. And you can clear so many adds of Stormcaller, it's ridiculous. I'm going to show a clip up here on the screen in just a second of clearing so many adds. It's insanely how good it can be. And one of the best things about this is you really don't even have to try. You just kind of look at whoever's in front of you, pull the trigger on your controller, and they just die. It's literally that easy. That's how useful this subclass is. Like, look how you just melt people. It's super fun, satisfying, and you look like Emperor Palpatine, I think his name is, in Star Wars. Now, one of the other perks you get in a subclass is when everyone is near you, such as like your teammates, you get your Rift energy back faster. I want to say the cooldown was about a minute and a half, so it's definitely the longest class ability recharge rate, like it's the longest, where Titans being at maybe like 45 seconds, Hunters being shorter, I don't know, where Warlocks definitely take longer. So if you're like in a raid setting or in a strike where you're fighting a boss, if you plant down a rift and your teammates are in it as well as you are, you will actually get your rift to recharge even faster, which is definitely always a good thing. Now for the final reason why I think Stormcaller is the best subclass, as I mentioned earlier, is whether you choose between the health or the damage buff. Well, on Stormcaller, you basically get both if you use the bottom subclass in the healing aspect, so you get the healing when you are in the rift. However, when you leave, you get something called an Arc Soul, which is the fourth part of the skill tree and the bottom skill tree set. And that gives you a little buddy on the right side of you that shoots enemies for you, that has homing shots, and it's just very viable, very useful, and definitely really helps damage output. And that's always good, especially when you want to get that healing aspect within the rift. But when you leave, you get that damage buff with you, which is very, very supportive. Now, again, how I said the Warlock Titan combo is the best. So what you can do is a Warlock will plant their rift anywhere they choose, and then a Titan will put their wall about in the middle of the rift, so they can go in front of their wall and shoot, but when they need to recover their health, they can step back behind their wall and get that health benefit, as well as refill their Arc Soul if they left. The Arc Soul does just a little bit of damage that's very useful, and can just help out the team do damage to, even in PvP, it gives you that extra edge. PvE, it's just that damage buff that we all need, because who doesn't want more damage, right? But you're not sacrificing the lack of health regeneration. So with that, you get the double combo, you get a super that clears tons of adds, that's super fun, and it's just so supportive. And I believe that's the new role Bungie was really looking for Warlocks in Destiny 2, and I think they nailed it with the Stormcaller. Now, Nova Bomb is great because it kills basically anything nearby. It's super powerful, but it doesn't really last that long. And if you miss some adds, oh well. Or if you're Stormcaller, you can just go back and kill them. Dawnblade, I haven't used it enough. I thought it was kind of difficult to aim and kind of awkward to use, but still fun. However, overall, I believe Stormcaller is the best Warlock subclass in Destiny 2. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you're going to come back for Destiny's new expansion. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in another video.